Hi everyone, this is your Tampa Bay Realtor Lance Mohr. In this video, I want to go over Eagle Home Mortgage closing cost. I generally don't like to do this. Now, if you don't know, Eagle Home Mortgage is owned by Lennar, and I want to first state the reason why I'm doing this is because I had a gentleman who is buying a new home. He was very confused on all these costs because unfortunately a lot of the lenders for these mortgage companies with the builders are very, very complacent. They're not taking the time to go over everything with consumers. Consumers and my clients are always calling me on this, asking me questions because they know I know a lot about mortgages. I used to be in mortgage banking. So I don't like doing this because I know, example, if you're in California, if you're in Texas, there could be completely different costs. Things are completely different. I'm doing this in Tampa, Florida, and these are the costs, and the costs are what the costs are today. And there's typical cost in our area. So really, I want you to take this with a grain of salt. And I've gone over this before with people. There's basically three different types of lenders out there. There's the banks. I'm not a big fan of the banks, as most people know, because if they have a round hole and you're a square peg, you don't fit very well, they just tell you you don't qualify. They only have their money to lend, and they're basically jacks of all trades. They're not really a master of anything. When you get into companies like Eagle Home Mortgage, they're a banker. They're most likely lending their own money. Some bankers are correspondent lenders. And then you have brokers, but builders don't use brokers. They're just not big enough. So anyhow, let's just go over this, and I'm going to go over everything just as I did my buyer, and I really want you to take it with a grain of salt on what I'm saying, but I'm definitely at the end of this going to give you some very, very good advice that I would follow if you're getting a new home, and especially if you think you're not getting a very good interest rate, or if you think you're getting taken advantage of. But with that said, I don't really find lenders that are owned by builders are there to take advantage of buyers. Are they going to be the lowest interest rate and cost in the world? Well, of course they're not. Are they going to be on the higher end? Well, of course they will. But, they should be fair. So anyhow, let's go over this. What happened is my client asked me about the interest rate, because the interest rate, as you could see it right here, was 4.375. Now, I told him my lender's interest rate at the time was 3.875, but I have a very, very aggressive lender who's also a broker. And where most of the interest rates on the street were probably around 4, maybe some of them 4 1/8. So anyhow, what I did is I went through this and I said, okay, the interest rate is 4.375, 4 3/8. One thing to keep in mind is they do not have an origination fee. So they don't have a fee. That's really good. They don't have any discount points, which discount points are there if you were buying the interest rate down. So if you wanted a lower interest rate, there would be discount points. Now, the other thing I will have to say, not only Eagle, but virtually every mortgage company is going to estimate high. Long gone are the days where they're going to estimate real low just to get the deal, because there's just so many government regulations that they have to abide to, which that's good. So anyhow, I'm just going to go over these fees right here, and I think the origination fee of having 0 is great. I think appraisals, most appraisers are going to be about $450 to $500. The lender's charging a $460 processing fee, underwriting fee, and document preparation fee. Those are on the higher end. There's no question. I think they should really be closer to probably the $295 for those. Now, of course, if you're going with a bank like a Wells Fargo, they're not going to have any of these, and they're generally going to have a higher interest rate because they do everything in-house. But anyhow, I think these are definitely on the higher end. The courier fee of $100 is on the higher end, probably should be more like $50. Wire transfer fee really probably should be $20 or $50. But again, this is just an estimate. When you close, the fees like the courier, the wire transfer, and some of these may be lower, and they probably will be. I doubt the processing, underwriting, and doc prep fee will change because they know what those are. The other thing I just want to bring up, and again, I'm not going to go over this entire statement right here, but if you look at settlement escrow fee by the title company, this is the fee for the title company to do everything, to handle all the paperwork. This is definitely on the higher end, and it is expected because I think we all could probably realize that lenders like a little bit of a discount, and this is just my opinion, and the title company just sort of passes it on to the buyer. Now, if it's an attorney, and if you ever use attorneys, especially in the state of Florida, they'll just gouge you as much as you can. You really got to keep your eyes on attorneys. So anyhow, this is pretty much just the closing cost of the lender, what their fees are. So what I would do is, and I told my buyer, I said, what you need to do is you need to go to 2 reputable banks. You could go to 3, but I would go to at least 2 reputable banks, maybe a Chase or a Wells Fargo, or even in my case, I told them, I gave them my lender's contact information, call them both up on the same day, give them the exact same situation, a 10% down, a sales price of $212,990, give them the closing date, do a 30-day lock, and get an LE, a lender's estimate, and see what it is, and send it over to the lender. And it doesn't make any difference if it's Eagle Mortgage or whoever it is. In this case, this is Eagle. And I had a client do this before because he felt the interest rate was a little high, as I did, and I told him to do this. And Eagle Mortgage actually, was lowered their interest rate. They lowered it by 1/4%. So I think whoever you're going through, keep in mind, they're not going to be the lowest. If you're just looking on the internet for the absolute lowest and you find Joe's Mortgage Shack in Des Moines, Iowa, you can't expect that they're going to be anywhere near that because that could be a made-up rate. So anyhow, I hope this helps you. If you have any questions at all, let me know. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, I would love to help you. And if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. Take care. Have a great day.